Hi, Bowen. I'm so glad that you connected with me today because I want to talk to you about procrastination. In Sinhalese, we say attapasukiri. Now, procrastination or a procrastinator is somebody who really waits until the last moment to get something done. It's different to laziness because laziness is where the person really doesn't do anything and they just hang around. But procrastinators, they want to do it, but for some reason or the other, they wait until the last moment. Now, there are several reasons why somebody might be a procrastinator. One is they might be a perfectionist, so they want to get everything perfect, so nothing is really perfect at the last moment. Or somebody might be somewhat have somewhat of a low self-confidence, so they think, well, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'll be able to remember what I studied. Maybe I need to do so much of reading for that project report. I don't think I can do it. So a little bit of a low self-esteem. Sometimes a person might be a bit self defeatist, so they feel that, in a way, in a very unconscious way, they kind of don't mind if they get defeated in a task. It's a very unconscious process because most of us consciously don't want to be defeated. So, whatever it is, another very common reason is they would think, well, if I do work at the last moment, I think I can do a good job. So that kind of idea can also be in our heads. So, four reasons. But whatever the reason is, I'm sure both of us agree that procrastination is not useful. It is associated with a lot of anxiety because if you are a procrastinator, that the moment you keep on delaying completing a task or even starting a task, you feel anxious, you feel stressed. It also makes you feel really tired because when you start actually doing the activity nearer the deadline, whether it's try to study for an exam or complete a project report or start cleaning your house, whatever it is, you feel really tired because you have to put in so much more energy than if you had done it in a consistent way. Another issue with procrastinating is that it has an impact of others. So if you are a student and everybody else in the household has to be up with you at the last moment when you're studying, or your parents have to nudge you to tell you to do things all the time. If you are a spouse who tends to procrastinate, your wife or husband has to be behind you to maybe pay the bills or get the laundry done or the household chores done because you're just not doing it. And a fourth consequence of being procrastinating is that you might not be able to do it because the last moment which you waited for, you might get sick, or your computer may break down, or there may be electricity cut, and then you are left high and dry. Now, I'm sure you are connected with me today because if you are a procrastinator, to know what you can do about it, or even if you're not a procrastinator, how you can really improve your life and practices. The first strategy is to know that you're a procrastinator. Now, some of us don't even know that, isn't it? They think somebody else is a procrastinator, but they're a procrastinator too. Now that we looked at what procrastination is, you might be able to know whether you're one. Are you a person who delays starting an activity and you wait until the last moment to act on it? Okay. The second strategy is to really look into yourself, sit for a moment, contemplate to see why do you procrastinate? What is the reason? Do you have a bit of a slow self-confidence that you feel that you may not be able to do this task at hand? Or do you have the wrong belief that if I do work at the last moment, I might be able to get a good job done? Or are you a person who is a perfectionist where you want everything to be perfect? So you're gathering all sorts of information for that project or for that passing that exam, but you're not actually doing the studying work. So look into yourself. Third strategy is consider that your procrastinating self was a thing of the past. Because clearly you're connected with me here because you want to change, isn't it? You just want to change. So that's your past. Now you're here trying to learn strategies to not be there because you learn the negative consequences of it. So tell yourself, I may have been a procrastinator before, but not from today because I'm going to change. The fourth strategy is think of the positives and tell yourself the positives that you would gain if you change from being a procrastinator. Now, many times people look at the negatives of procrastinating. They will say, well, if I delay studying, my teammates or my group mates at the university will get so annoyed because their study time is linked with mine. Or if I delay studying, my parents will tell me we spend so much of time, energy, and money on your classes and you're not doing anything. And they'll be so angry at me. So I better start studying. Or if I don't work on the project, my teammates will get angry with me for the 100th time. So we look at the negatives of procrastination. I urge you to look at the positives of not procrastinating. So, for example, you would say, well, if I actually start studying from the beginning of the term as opposed to at the last moment nearing the exam, I could study, I could do my sports, I could hang around with my friends, I could hang around with my family, I could go for my walk, watch a movie as well as study. And because I've done these things consistently, even near the exam, I don't have to rush myself and be so tired doing whatnot. I could do all those fun things too nearer the exam as well as studying. Secondly, you could tell yourself, because I am not a procrastinator anymore, I'm a person who's very much on the ball, my teammates, my work colleagues would be so relieved because I'm also doing my part of the job for that activity. Or you would say, I feel good about myself. I have changed something in me which I want to change for a long time. And I feel very relieved. So look at the positives of not being a procrastinator and tell yourself this. Then how do you actually now structure your day and your schedule to cut the habit of procrastination? Have a timetable. That is the fifth strategy I'm talking to you about, but don't make it so rigid that you can't stick to it. So you can't, if you're exam oriented and if you're studying, don't say 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It's going to be tough for you, right? I mean, even when I'm saying it, it's tough, isn't it? Listening to it. Instead, you could say, well, I'll have a schedule from Monday to Friday or for the entire month. And for each of the days, I will study this number of pages of this particular subject or this number of chapters in this particular subject. So keep it flexible for a particular day or a time period in a day, but make it realistic. Now, sometimes we try to make it like I'm going to study 10 chapters in a day. That's unrealistic. I don't know how long your chapters are, but usually it's unrealistic. But we tend to do that. Don't do that. Do something realistic. You could say, in one particular day, I'm going to study 3 chapters because you can do it flexibly. You can do it in a relaxed way. You don't feel bad when you can't finish it at the end of the day, and you will enjoy the process. And when you enjoy the process, you will learn better. Okay, so set goals, have a timetable, but don't make massive goals, unrealistic goals, but rather make short goals within that timetable that is easily achievable. And once you've done some work without being in the procrastination work, look back and say, you know what, that's fantastic. Last week, I studied 5 chapters. That's a massive thing. And I'm really proud of myself. So remind yourself what you've gained since you stop procrastinating. That will really make you feel good. It will improve your self-esteem and it would make you want to do more. So you could say, well, you know what, I'm so glad I did 5 chapters last week, only need to complete 10 to 20 chapters. And I think at this rate, I can finish this particular subject by next week. And I feel really pleased about myself. So up your mind by rewarding yourself, by praising yourself. You could take it a step further and say, if I complete all of this work, a reasonable amount of work, you could say, I might just go on that trip to Gaul or to Kandy or wherever you wanted with your friends, which you hadn't been going. So you reward yourself just as parents would reward a child, a little girl or a little boy, for studying. Our parents may have done that too. You can do the same thing to you because you love yourself. The sixth strategy is mindfulness or present moment awareness. Because we know that one of the biggest reasons that somebody procrastinates is that they listen to the little voice within themselves that says, let's do it tomorrow, let's do it on Monday. Weekend, I'll just sleep in or go out with my friends. I don't think I can do it. I don't know how to do it. All those little voices in our heads, we listen to it and we comply with it. Now, when somebody is practicing the technique of present moment awareness or mindfulness, or in Sinhalese we call it Sihiya, they listen to these little annoying voices in the head, but they don't give in to it. Instead, they say, yeah, my voice says, let's not do this in the weekend, though I had planned to do so. Instead, to do it on the Monday. My mind says that, the little voice in me says that, but you know what? I'm going to do this in the weekend anyway. So, present moment awareness is a fantastic strategy. I will put a link to it below. I have done many programs on present moment awareness. One or two of those links I will link below for you to read up on that, listen up on that, and to inculcate that into your life. So I'm very pleased that you connected with me today, and I assume that your connection means you want to overcome this tendency of procrastination. And I urge you to put into practice these simple 6 strategies I've told you, and I'm sure your life would change for the better. I wish you all the best.